Hello, sixth graders. We are in Unit 6, our integers unit. Today we are looking at adding integers. Our learning target is I can add integers. Okay, if we are adding integers with the same sign, let's look at this number line here. So we are trying to find -3 plus -2. So if we're starting at 0 here and we have 3 negatives, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to add 2 more negatives onto it, that would be a -4, -5. So therefore, our answer would be -5. So if the signs are the same, we just add the number like normal, or we add the numbers like normal. 3 plus 2 is 5, and then you just take the sign. Since we have negatives out front, that means our answer is negative. Just like if we had 3 plus 2, that equals 5. But since both of those are positive, our answer is positive. Where in this case, since both of our numbers are negative, our answer is negative. So now you try these ones. -5 plus -7. So you just add the numbers. Well, 5 plus 7 is 12. Since they're both negative, our answer would be negative. -10 plus -4. Well, 10 plus 4 is 14. And since those are both negative numbers, then our answer would be negative. Couple vocab words here. Opposites. This is when we have the same number with different signs. So for example, if we had 5 and -5, those are opposites. They're on the opposite sides of a number line. So if we had number line here 0, and we're up here at 5, and then back here at -5, they are both the same distance away from 0, just on opposite sides. This is also additive inverses. So two integers that are opposites, okay, so those are opposite integers. Okay, so two words basically with the same meaning. So the additive inverse property tells us that if we take the two opposite numbers and we add them together, they will equal 0. So if we had 7 plus -7, those are opposites, that's going to equal 0. If we have 10 plus -10, those are opposites, so it's going to equal 0. Now if we are adding integers with different signs, we're going to use this number line here. So we have 5 plus -3. So we start at 0 and we move up 5. And then we add 3 negatives, and negatives go to the left, so we go to the left 3, and we're going to end up here at 2. So therefore, 5 plus -3 equals 2. On our next one here, -3 plus 2, where we start at 0, and since it's a -3, that tells us that we're going to go left 3, 1, 2, 3. But now we are adding 2, and positive numbers move us to the right, so we are going to move to the right 1, 2, and we end up here at -1. So -3 plus 2 is -1. So on the next slide here, we will see kind of the rule to follow when we're adding different signs. So before you try those two on your own, pause and write this part down, add integers with different signs. To add integers with different signs, subtract their absolute value. Remember, that's how far the number is from 0. Then the sum is positive if the positive number in the problem is bigger, and it's negative if the negative is bigger. So we're looking here, 9 plus -4. Well, you find the difference between 9 and 4, which is 5. And since you have more positives, your answer is going to be a +5. Where if we flip the signs here and we have a -9 plus a +4, again, the signs are different, so we're going to subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. Since we have more negatives now, our answer is going to be a -5. Okay, so let's try these here. So we have 6 plus -7, different signs, so we're going to subtract. Well, I know that 7 minus 6 equals 1. Now we have 6 positives and we have 7 negatives. Since we have more negatives, our answer is a -1. Next one, -15 plus 19. Signs are different, so we subtract. Well, 19 minus 15 I know is 4. Now we have 15 negatives and 19 positives. Since we have more positives, our answer would be a positive 4. So you could write it as 4. Again, you can put the positive sign out front, but it's not needed. Okay, so more for us to try without using a number line, just trying to follow those rules. So we have 7 plus negative 1. So signs are different, so subtract. Well, 7 minus 1 is 6. And then I ask myself, do I have more positives or do I have more negatives? Since I have more positives, my answer is positive. Negative 8 plus 3, different signs, so we subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. Now, do I have more positives or do I have more negatives? In this case, I have more negatives, so my answer is negative 5. Next one, we've got 3 numbers here, so let's just work left to right. So let's focus here on the 2 plus negative 15. Since our signs are different, we're going to subtract. 15 minus 2 is 13. And I have more negatives, so my answer is negative, plus negative 2. Now, the only reason that they put parentheses on there is just to hold the negatives separate from the addition sign. So be careful to know the difference between the parentheses and the absolute value bars that we saw in one of the first videos. They are different. Now we have negative 13 plus negative 2. Since both of them are negative, we just add like normal. 13 plus 2 is 15, and we keep the sign. Since they're both negative, our answer is a negative 15. 10 plus negative 12, so if you are feeling comfortable, pause here and try these on your own. Since the signs are different, we subtract. 12 minus 10 is 2. We have more negatives, so our answer is going to be negative 2. Negative 13 plus 18, different signs, so we subtract. Notice I'm saying the same steps over and over again. 18 minus 13 is 5. Now, I have 13 negatives and 18 positives, so I have more positives, so my answer is a positive 5. 3 numbers, let's start with the first 2. Negative 14 plus negative 16. Since the signs are the same, you add them together. 14 plus 6 is 20. Keep the signs, which is negative. Now the signs are different, so we are going to subtract. 20 minus 6 is 14. And since I have more negatives, my answer is negative 14. Okay, now I know it seems like a lot, but I want you to write this down. Key concepts for adding integers here. The integers 5 and negative 5 are opposites because they are the same distance from 0. 2 integers that are opposite are also called additive inverses. And any number and its additive inverse is 0. So we have an example here. 5 plus negative 5 equals 0. So make sure you have all of this written down, this whole page. Now, anytime you have a positive plus a positive, it's going to equal a positive. This is just normal addition. 2 plus 3 is 5. If you have 2 negatives, negative plus a negative, it's going to equal a negative. If you have a negative and you're adding more negatives, your answer is just getting more negative. So you add the numbers and then keep the sign. So our example here, negative 2 plus negative 3 equals negative 5. And a positive plus a negative, so the signs are different. So you're going to subtract the smaller from the larger and take the sign of the larger number. So 2 plus negative 3, you subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. Take the negative from the bigger number and put it on your answer, negative 1. Negative plus positive, same steps. Subtract the smaller from the larger and take the sign of the larger number. In this case, negative 2 plus 3, you subtract again. 3 minus 2 is 1. But now in this case, your positive is bigger, so your answer is a positive number. So just continue to follow those steps. Refer back to this as you're solving your problems. That is all for adding integers. Go back, re-watch another time if you are stuck or confused. Otherwise, come with questions tomorrow to class.